Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good afternoon, everybody. It's 6 o'clock and we're here. So, welcome to Hood Politicking with T, a safe space to learn about, to speak on, and to engage in political conversations with an urban twist. Um, we're here. Today is 9/11. First, let me say, sending my condolences to everybody that lost somebody in that tragedy. I'm from New York, so that was like a big thing. Um, 20, 21 years ago, 23 years ago. It's been a couple of years since 9/11 has gone down. And like I said, first and foremost, my condolences to everybody that lost somebody on that day. So let's get into this. So we're here. We're conversating about this debate that went on last night. The debate was crazy. I'm sure everybody kikied. Everybody had some oh my God moments, clutched their pearls. I'm sure everybody had things that they liked about it, things that they didn't like about it. Um, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think anyone won the debate. It was a blame game and a lot of policies wasn't thrown. But like I told you guys before, I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not on either side. I was really hoping that this debate would help me figure out if I even wanted to vote this year and who I would vote for. But I don't think so. So, my thoughts. From Jump, Kamala came out and it was just funny the way she walked over to him. He didn't want to, he didn't even want to shake her hand. You could tell that it was going to be, crazy from Jump. First question got thrown out. She didn't answer. The first question was, do you think we're better off now than we were 4 years ago? She didn't really answer that question. I really wanted her to, because I wanted her to express how she really looks at, how the presidency, how Biden's presidency really went for the last 4 years. There was a lot of kiki ha ha moments. Trump pulling her on her that she did to his VP pick when he went against Biden 4 years ago and told her, excuse me, I'm talking. Do you? I know you know that you or you remember that or whatever he said. That was a kiki. Um, the way they were going back and forth, it was like a real blame game, and I rather it would have been more of a fact finding type of debate than a blame game. Somebody had me dying earlier. They said that it was like watching a reality show reunion minus the fighting, which had me dying because if you really look at it, yeah, they were going at each other. I watch a lot of politics. I watch the news, all these content creators that, had their little views and thoughts about it. A lot of people are saying that they felt like Trump was being ganged up because ABC is kind of biased. A lot of people said Kamala dog walked him. A lot of people are saying that he had a lot of key moments where he one upped her. So yeah, I just want to let's talk about it. I really want this to be a panel discussion. I want you guys to come up. I'm gonna drop the link in the chat. Um, okay, so I copied the link. I'm gonna drop that in the chat, and we're gonna see, you know, what you guys think. I told you over here is a safe space. No matter if I feel a certain way, you feel a certain way, it doesn't matter. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. Everybody has the power to say what they want, feel the way they feel, and you're not wrong. Everybody's opinion is not wrong. That's why it is an opinion. You have your own thoughts, you have your own views, um, and it is what it is. So today, I figure we will talk about, you know, the key moments that you guys feel that both candidates have, what wasn't said that you wanted to be discussed, any misinformation that you feel either one of them, brought out into this debate or said in the debate, and who you thought won. Like I said, I don't really think anybody won, because I am a policy voter. Like, I want to know policies. I want you to tell me exactly what you're going to do to execute your plans, to make sure that your policy falls through. I was hoping that somebody would say, like, in my first 100 days, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, executive orders for X, Y, and Z, or this is the way that we're going to fix the economy and break it down for me. I like stuff being broken down to me so I can understand. Um, a lot of people are very emotional about this election. They're playing on a lot of emotional based topics, I would say, as far as racism. Is she black? Her being a woman. So I want to hear your point of view too. I want to know why emotionally that draws you in, or drew you in. I'm sorry, I'm hood. I drew you into whatever candidate you're gonna vote for. I mean, um, like I said, if you follow me on Instagram and you saw my Insta stories, it was an ish show. It was, and it was more of a let's see which one of us can one up the other one, or get that viral moment, that clip, that little sound bite that we could just keep playing to use against the other opponent, instead of it being, okay, the American people really are in need to know what's going on, especially on things like immigration and inflation. Everything else, like, I'm concerned about Roe v. Wade and abortion and things like that. But before that, I would definitely, my definite number one concern is inflation in the economy. Second would be immigration, and that's only because I live in a sanctuary state. Like I said, New York, we are a sanctuary state. So my neighborhood is getting flooded with a lot of these immigrants. So that's like one of my main concerns. If you was on my other live last Wednesday, you would know that I was saying, I can't get food stamps and I pay taxes and certain things like that. I just feel like you should take care of the people here first. Um, so come up, let's see how you guys feel. Don't be shy. We're not going to argue. We're not going to, have a big debate, but I do want to hear everybody else's opinion, because you might be able to change somebody's mind about what they think about the candidate that you want, or you might enlighten somebody on facts that you know, or that you're going to, speak about when you do come up here. Um, while I'm waiting for somebody to come up here, what I wanted to talk about too was, um, I didn't like the fact that Kamala kept bringing Trump into it. I feel like she should have just kept it on what she was going to do in her policies. I think she would have, it would have been a better debate on her side if she would have did that. I think she did pretty good. Everybody was talking about, like, she needs notes and she's not a good debater, but she's a prosecutor. She knows how to speak to people. She's a career prosecutor. They know how to speak to people. They know how to bait people into answering questions. And I feel like she did very well compared to how everybody else thought that she would do. It was a lot of things going around that, she needs her vice president there, or she needs notes, or, she wanted the mics on so she could catch that little sound bite of him being rude and stuff like that. But I think she did pretty good. Um, I think Trump didn't articulate a lot of things in the right way. Um, the whole people eating animal thing, uh, getting an abortion at 9 months. It was a couple of things that he said that it was just like, what are you talking about? Um, I also looked up Project 2025, so we can talk about that. We could talk about how that how that will affect us if it does get pushed through. Is Trump really, backing this bill? Who wrote it? Who's the people that are endorsing it and things like that? Um, yeah, Ari, the abortion after birth was crazy. Oh, I could last time I couldn't see y'all comments. I could see y'all comments now. So I could definitely interact with you guys. And yeah, Mary, I really do think Kamala did way better than Biden. I do. I wanted her to answer the question like, where's our president now? Because I'm one of those people that felt like, he's been missing in action. And I mean, I have grandparents that's his age. I know, your mental state starts going at that time and stuff. So I wanted to know, like, are you the one that's been in charge all this time? Are you concerned about Biden and things like that? So, you know, let's talk about it. I have one guest. Oh, two of you guys. Great. So I'm gonna bring up Dre and Uniquely. Hey Dre.
How you doing? How
Hey
you Nikki?
LaShawn.
Hey, Miss Pumpleton, how you doing?
How you doing, guys? So, did you guys watch the debate last night?
Nah, I didn't get to watch it, but I did have my. I heard a lot about it. I've seen clips.
Okay.
I had my, my pointers that I feel like us as a society and as a human race that we should be focused on. When it comes down to this race as well as others. Because
Yeah.
I feel like just as important as the election and all of that. I'm from the hood. I probably end up saying something wrong on accident. So
Well,
y'all
listen,
forgive
we are
me.
hood politicking with T. So you're fine. We're hood politicking. Hood is in the description. It is in the
Okay.
title. So you are fine. Go ahead,
Okay.
speak your mind. Like I really wanted to do this channel so we can speak freely. We can speak in our language so we can get an understand better instead of listening to these politicians and these words that they throw out at us that most of us probably don't even know or understand what it is. So if you could give it to me in your perspective in the way that you speak, that's perfectly fine with me. I rather that than you try to come up here and be something you're not, because we know how you get down, Dre.
Yeah. I try not to go there. Nah. But I feel like this as well as this election is important. Others are too. You know what I'm saying? Like Congress, everybody, because it's like the laws that's being passed, that's being changed, and we don't know nothing about it, and all of it because it all ties into one. And I
Yeah,
feel like, with this election here, it's just I feel like it's like a Ponzi scheme because they want it to be about race and it's black person versus a white person, and it's really not that because they're both ignorant in their own
mm-hmm.
way. You know what I'm saying? Anytime you bring up a female rapper during your turn, well, during your, I don't know what it is that she doing, but
Oh,
she brought,
when they had the little the party, their little the Democratic convention. That's what you're
yeah,
talking about. Megan the
yeah,
Stallion.
yeah.
Okay.
It's like at a time like this where our country, it looks like excuse my French, show. You know what I'm saying? And kids, some small as 10 years old, is going to school with pals being unalived, um, and nobody spoke on that. Nobody spoke on the police brutality, and they'll show you. Like I have some friends that came over from Africa. Well, their parents did, and the first time ever come to the United States, they said they were shown a video. The cop was a white cop, and the bad person was a black dude in a hoodie with a certain description that all urban people may wear.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked like the white cop was coming to the rescue. That's the way that they made it look, like the white people are good and the black people are bad. She said, but when you get over here, you got your crazy and you got your good and you got your in between. I said,
Yeah.
yeah, that's true. So they portray it to be that way. And in all actuality, this world is losing its mind. You see police brutality against all walks of life: orange, black, white, Chinese, Filipino, green, purple, you name it. You just find black people may get it a lot worse than others. But I've seen videos on the scoop site thing, and white people got it just as bad as black people. If not, they didn't get the pow pow part, but the way that they got beat, like, it was just crazy to just see it and to watch this election and see that nobody is talking about none of the things that's going on in the country that they're going to change the laws to make them better, for safety, you know, make the borders safety. So, I mean, make it more safe for people to feel comfortable over here. Because when you have people coming into your country doing what they want to do, and the only thing they got to do is just jump a border, and that's that. You know what I'm saying? And then you get in trouble if you address them for trying to basically you protect yourself.
Yeah.
You in trouble. They come to you trying to tell you to get out your house, get on the ground, get out your house, and you got to protect yourself. But now you in trouble for defending yourself. But this
Yeah.
is where you live. This is the only, you know what I'm saying? We supposed to have protection for us, and neither one of them talked about that. They just made it seem more of a minority versus, a white person, and I feel like it's not that. It's not that at all over here. Everybody got some crazy. In each race, they got some crazy.
Yeah, I feel that same way too. I feel like it was more of I like that word you use, like a Ponzi scheme. Like it was more
Mhm.
of emotional based than policy based. Like they didn't really, neither one of them really told us what they're willing to do to make America the place that everybody wants to come to. You understand what I'm saying? And they didn't. I don't feel as an American citizen. I don't feel like neither one of them made me comfortable being an American citizen, feeling like my government's gonna take care of me. It made me feel like it was all about other people and not the people that actually are here paying the taxes, that have to, live here and work here, and our groceries are high, and our gas is high, and we're paying almost $10 for eggs. It was nothing, really said about that. They didn't push that. And like you said, all the school pow powings and just what it was more international. Like I think I don't know how to explain it. Like to me, it was more of an international type of thing where they were, because the immigrant crisis, all that, that's more international. Like that's outside coming in. It should have been a more of what we're gonna do to fix here and the people here. To me,
Exactly. Exactly. And no, but you also got to protect your citizens here. You know what I'm saying? Which ties into the outside, because if my borders are not secure enough to keep out people who walking in, what about the people who gonna fly?
exactly,
That's what
exactly.
I'm saying. So you know what I'm saying? It's not, you don't feel really protected because it's a money game, and it's an ego game. And instead of them just getting out there, if it was two men out there, it'd be a pole swinging contest, in other people's words, but since it's a woman and a man, you can't say that. So it's just more, what you could do I can do better, and let me try to make my people see the racism in you. And we already know this is a racist bigot.
Yeah,
Just looking
that's
at his last name, you will see
that's
that that's a racist bigot. So you're not
that's
telling us nothing new, sis.
yeah, and that's what kind of frustrates me because I feel like we already know Trump. We already know what Trump's about. So when you're not in favor of Kamala and you're pointing out like certain wrongs for her, the first thing everybody says, "Oh, you're a Trump supporter." I am not a Trump supporter. I already know Trump's faults. We had 4 years to get to know him in the White House, plus 4 years before that when he was trying to run, and 4 years after that. So we kind of know Trump very well as like, him going to do interviews and just as his social media presence and stuff like that. Um, we don't really know Kamala like that. Kamala came in, she ran for president. She didn't even make it to the primary. So we didn't get a chance for the mainstream media to really introduce her to us. And while she was vice president, she didn't really, show face like that. It wasn't like, she was going to all these places and meeting all these people and doing interviews or being regularly broadcasted saying stuff. So
Oh
I
yes, she
just,
did. Yes, she
I
did.
mean,
She was there for Biden because remember she slipped up and accidentally tweeted something from her account that was supposed to be from Biden's account.
yeah, and that's another reason why I wanted her to answer that question. Like when did you started seeing the decline in our president? Like when did you have to? Because at some point I feel like she took over. Like
Hmm.
at some
Hmm.
point she was you know, the one on point for making those decisions or being the final decision maker, I would say, for certain things because let's call a spade a spade. Biden's old and you can see, I'm not trying to diagnose him, but he might be going through dementia. He might be going through Alzheimer's. He's at that age. Nobody's being like ageist,
That
but
man being sleep. That man is just sleepy. He had a hell of a life, and he want
Sleepy
to go to
Joe.
bed.
Yeah, Sleepy Joe. So, but hold on a second, Dre. Let's see what Latoy has to say. Hey, Latoy.
Hey, Miss Popperton, how you doing?
I'm good. Did you watch the debate last night?
Good.
You did?
And my stance on it is a shit show. My bad, my
No,
bad.
girl, I ain't mad at
Um,
Project. Go ahead. Look.
but I feel that time was trying to
Oh, you cut out, baby.
Trump said
Okay, we can hear you now.
was number one. Can you hear me? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you had just cut out. If you
One,
could just repeat what you were saying again.
earpiece died. Oh, and now I'm just on speaker. Okay, my bad. Okay, so about last night, did you guys catch any of that?
No, we didn't. You cut out.
Okay, so um, last night, like I said, it was a blank show, and too much time was spent trying to dispel his fear mongering tactics and rhetoric that he was spinning. But one thing that did stand out to me with him, and I know he's been itching to get rid of Obamacare, but when he was in office before, Congress wasn't stacked in his favor to
Yeah,
where he could actually get the bill
get rid of
pushed
it.
through.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's saying we'll get there. Well, when we get there, if I get elected, when we get there, we'll come up with something. For me, healthcare is one of the most important policies that I need to think about with pretty much I got four generations from my grandmother down that's alive. Of the four generations from my grandmother down to my children,
Mm-hmm.
three of the generations have been touched with cancer. And when my son was younger and before Obamacare, I had left a job and my insurance lapsed. And trying to get when I got insurance with my new employer, since that I had a lapse in coverage, anything that came up with my son with his um, cancer and he has a prosthetic leg. So any issues that came about, they weren't treating. They were denying, you know what I mean? So everything it became an issue of everything was related back to his pre-existing condition, which wasn't being covered because my insurance only covered like basic medical care at that point because of the extensive medical background that he had, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when Obamacare came, that was a lifesaver. We were able to get, coverage and he gets up to now, he's 20, he'll be 29. He's good. He can go in, he can get his leg, he can go, he can get treated if he has an issue because those things do happen when you have a prosthetic.
Yeah.
Another thing that he said that stood out to me as well when they asked him about Roe versus Wade. Would he repeal that? Well, number one, that came from the judicial branch, right?
Hmm.
So he really has no control to say, even though he's saying yes, you really don't have the power. That came from the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
So saying that is just, to me, feeding into, whatever narrative he's trying to go with just to get the vote. I don't like that. Yes, Kamala, she has some things that are stacked against her in her past, and likewise Trump has. I think, in my opinion, his ill wills far outweigh hers as far as the things that he's done or gotten away with.
Okay.
So those are, and also with the Biden administration, another policy that I did like was the funding for HBCUs. My daughter did benefit from that. So it went for me, paying outside of her scholarships. I was responsible for about 12,000 of her tuition because she was out of
That's
state.
good.
They cut that down to where I was down to like 3,000 a year for her tuition.
Well, that's
Mm,
So she
wonderful.
got those credits that benefited her because she did go to a HBCU. So,
okay.
and as far as the relief for um, financial aid, I do know people that did benefit from that and having their debt uh, wiped out. And with
I
that,
was one of them.
so Trump was saying nobody got that. There's
Yeah,
certain
I was one of
stipulations.
them.
So basically, you had to be in a position where you were a public servant to get it. So I do have friends that are social workers and adjunct professors that did get their financial aid. They got relief.
But see, I heard that all those things came from what Obama had set in office when he left.
No,
It was all based off of the things he had set. Like just like there was the Obamacare, the Obama phones, this, that, and
the
that. They just switched
Obamacare
their name.
portion, the Obamacare portion, yes, but the Biden administration was the one that put the HBCU package in,
Yeah, they did.
and they did the
Okay.
financial aid. So that came from the Biden administration. Those are another two key policies that I do like. Now, as far as Trump goes, you know, I'm just leave it there because I like everybody. I don't want drama, but yeah,
I
I'm a
had a problem with them was my biggest issue was when he came in office and this was during his sleepy days. So we know Miss Heffa is responsible for this. So I didn't like how she switched it to now that if you help the homeless eat, they could prosecute you legally. And that's not right. And I didn't like how they switched it out and start putting rocks and boulders and making benches uncomfortable. It's
but that
already bad enough for them.
but
And you go make the colleges better. Yeah, that's cool. But what about
I
those who are sleeping outside?
I'm gonna have
Mm,
to look at that because I don't think it's from a federal level. I think it's more state level. And if it's controlled by that state, then that state
yeah,
would have
it's
anything
state
to
to
do with the
state.
federal government.
But
No,
I
it
understand.
was no,
Okay,
it's from
so
state to state because they were saying how the Biden administration had passed that and made it legal. Where if we help, people that's less, I don't even want to call them homeless people. I just say people who are less fortunate than we are. When we help out and do what we're supposed to do, they get to if they'll tell you not to and they'll warn you first and then they'll arrest you second and then it's like, well, what are you doing? This is my freedom of right to do this. It ain't yours. It's not your money. You can't tell me what to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that because we have like I'm in Florida. Me and
Hmm.
Wilson is around the corner from me. I don't know if she's over here. Um, but we do, like, there's certain parts of town we can go into, and the homeless people know what time to line up so that they can get fed and clothed. Um,
mm.
so that's not a thing in Florida.
Well, that's
Okay.
okay. So my last live, me and Wilson was up here. Speaking of Wilson, and
Yeah,
we were talking about that. So this this just proves to me, like I said on the last live, it depends on where you live. It
right.
depends
So
on your situation, and it also depends on your outlook on certain things. Like, so you said HBCUs, right?
Correct.
So boom, that's great and all, but I see Dre's point. Everybody's child, for one, especially in our community, does not go to college. For two, they it's hard to get into these HBCUs now because so many people are applying and they're letting in other I would say races than black. So it's giving our children less cushion to get into these schools. People that come from HBCUs, people that you know, support HBCUs, they love Kamala because she came out of a HBCU. She went to Howard. Um, she's a soror. Everybody is not a soror. Everybody did not go to college. And I think that's the thing that a lot of people, when the arguments start, a lot of people forget that it's all about everybody's experience. Everybody doesn't experience the same thing that you do. Now, when I think Ricky Smiley said it would be great for her to be the first black woman president, soror out of HBCU, the what are they called? The something 10. I forgot. Well, the something 10,
The
whatever they
Divine
call
Nine. The
the
Divine
divine
Nine.
number. Yeah, I gave them an extra number. Look at that. It would be great for them and everything. But out of our population, the divine nine is a very small percentage.
Right.
And people have to realize that what's good for one person might not be good for all. And the presidency, you're supposed to be I guess, a representative of more than just a little percentage of people. So I could definitely
Well,
understand what Dre is saying with
well,
that
from
point.
not to cut. Sorry. Go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
go ahead.
No, from that perspective, that's Ricky Smiley's opinion. Like, I didn't go to a HBCU. I went to a PWI.
Okay.
Um, and but the disparity between the HBCUs and the PWIs is the PWIs, they get the federal and the state funding,
Yeah,
whereas most of the HBCUs are private
paid
institutions,
out of pocket.
and they don't get that federal funding or that state funding that like a PWI state university would.
Yeah, because
So
you get like
that's why
something
it looks
Pell.
like they're getting special treatment, but they're actually not. They're pigeonholed out of the um the financial assistance that they were getting before, just like the black farmers. It's the
Yeah.
same type of hierarchy.
Well, what I was also saying was there is okay. How could I put this? I feel like I would prefer for my president to care about those without shelter, those without clothing, those people who are worried about their next meal.
And
Those because it's like we
wait,
all could be on an even. We can all be even and playing. We can all be at the HBCUs. We can all be at the black universities and whatever university, whatever ethnicity you is, and you feel like you belong to. We can all be there, but you have to make it humanly fair for everybody to be
right.
able to survive. And right now, they care more about what goes on in Ukraine and what goes on in Italy and Rome and China, Japan, and Paris and all them other places, and that don't hold no weight over here.
Well, now that you said that, I pose a question to both of you guys. How do you guys feel about this immigrant crisis that they're saying? Like I said, I live in a sanctuary city, so I see it firsthand. But I know Florida, I know your governor like put them on buses and shipped them out.
Listen, he
So
he put in a law last year, um, and that's part of our inflation in Florida as well. He enacted a law last year that if you're an illegal, um basically, like, if you're an illegal, they can pick you up at any time. If they catch you, you this and then the employers get fined, blah 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 blah. Well, what happened when he enacted that law, there was a mass exodus. So all of those workers left, which stopped which stopped farming, which
mm,
also stopped the construction industry, because nobody wanted to go out and do those jobs. But they when they
Mm,
did that mass exodus, I think he had a oh moment with those immigrants. So immigrants tend to kind of stay away from Florida, knowing that we have these laws in place that anything could, any little thing could happen. They could be in a car with somebody and get pulled over and they're gone.
mm. See, I didn't
You know.
know that Florida was still like that strict with the laws
Yes.
as far as that. I know y'all governor is crazy. I know
He's
he's
a
crazy.
mess.
Yeah, because he wants to take like I forgot what it's called, critical race theory. He wants to take that out of
It's
school.
it's already started here. Critical,
Yeah, and I
and
don't
the
agree with
funny,
it.
everybody throws up critical race theory, but that is a graduate level program. That's not even something they teach in elementary schools, but they have,
Mm,
or high schools for that matter. It's more on a graduate school level. So I think they throw out the word critical race theory to scare people, but it is a course that's taught on a graduate level, not even a bachelor's level. Number So the books that he took out, and he's already restructured the history of, what they can teach in Florida schools. So he's
wow.
taken out the LGBTQ books. They've taken out any person of color books. They've, like, anything, even kids books that says, maybe it's a Latino book about loving yourself and loving your ethnicity. All those things he's gotten rid of.
Mm. See,
All
I
those
didn't, I
things
didn't
he's
know he
gotten rid of.
already. I
So
didn't know
the
he already implemented all of that.
Yeah, yeah, we have a lot of teachers that were like, yeah, I'm not. It's time for me to switch up.
Wow.
And see, I'm from California, so I see all of it. And we have everybody, okay? I mean, everybody. And
Oh well,
everybody
Dre.
We
have,
do. We're a melting pot. We have. I'm in South Florida, which is like the Caribbean melting pot, but it's. I mean, we have everybody here. And then, 10 minutes away from us is Palm Beach, so you got the European elite and all that stuff. So everybody's here. So I'm not understanding, what the issue is of having, literature that represents who you
You are.
identify to
Yeah.
or with.
Well, Dre,
well,
since you said
I have a problem with a lot because they force a lot up on. I feel like, how can I put this? I feel
Well,
like,
if it's a book in a library, you have a choice if you want to check that book out.
correct. I can't
So
tell you
they're
what to put
not
in your
imposing
library. No.
that literature on it, but they make it available for, maybe people can't go to Barnes and Noble and buy a book.
Right, right.
So, to take that information out and make it available, if someone chooses to read that information, I,
so,
Hmm.
the books
that's
are
taking
only
away
taken out
someone's
of school.
choice.
So they only took the books out of school. It's not like a ban, like a statewide book ban where you can't purchase the books or go to the library and take the books out. They're just taking it out of school.
It's out of schools. But
Okay.
here's the thing: if you're in a underprivileged situation, how many parents are taking their kids to the library?
Ooh.
I
How many
mean,
parents
really,
can afford to buy that book that identifies with that kid if they're already underprivileged?
really, in all actuality, you know how back when we were coming up as kids, the library was a big thing.
Yeah.
Right now, the library is not being pushed in school
No.
as a big thing as it opposed to it was when we were coming up. And as
Mm-mm.
well, like I say before, I feel once again, especially with Camilla Harris being a black woman, I feel like she should know we're underprivileged. Like even if you don't know, you can see it with your eyes. Okay, where she's not blind. So I don't think. So so, look at Biden. We don't know who what up there no more shit. Um
Well,
we don't.
I want to get a little messy. I want to get a little messy since you brought that up. Um, do you believe she's a black woman? Do you look? Do you feel like
I don't.
you identify her as a black woman?
I
I don't want
don't.
to ask, do you think she identifies herself? Because she
I
did not want to answer the question. Do you identify her as a black woman?
I don't
I
because
Go ahead.
oh go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Okay, well I don't because Nothing that comes out her mouth stands as a black woman. Majority of black people will be angry and they will won't change. So she's not angry enough for me. I need her to be Harriet Tubman angry because you in the office and well, you're running for office. The boy down in Mississippi and what happened to him between the rope and himself in the bridge on a racist bigot bridge. I forgot, was it his birthday or it was the bridge anniversary? And it was in Mississippi. They swept it under the rug. Nobody else talked about it. You knew about it, Huzzy. You knew about the lady that told the man that he made it seem like she was gonna throw some water on him. You seen that too.
Mm.
Everything you seen was big at first and then it just went quiet. So with that being said, I need you to do more and talk less. I need all my presidents, anybody in up there in the government, do more, talk less, and I need you to do more that benefits everybody, meaning making it equal for everybody to be able to come out. Stop wasting your money on on this nonsense shit and go out there and put it towards education, pay the teachers more, make them want to be there, make sure it's a teacher and not just somebody that needs to pay rent.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure they're qualified to sit
They
here.
actually like kids.
Yes, make sure they're qualified and that they want to do this job. Not that they're bound to do this job because if not, car note don't get paid because I don't got time for her half ass teaching my child. Just
Well, I
saying.
think the whole education system needs to be revamped. I don't like this whole no child left behind thing. Homeschool my son. I was not playing. He never has been in school. He's supposed to be in the fifth grade, but because I homeschool him, he's on a seventh grade level. Um, I don't like the no child left behind thing because I've seen a lot of teachers on TikTok, Instagram, and X complaining that these kids are coming into junior high school with fourth grade level reading and math and stuff like that, and it's because they're not being left back. They're not letting them, when we were growing up, if you needed help and you needed to be left back, that was a conversation between you, the principal, the teachers, and your parents. And then they decided what they wanted to do. I don't feel that the school should just push kids forward when they still need the help. And I think that's like a major thing that they need to fix in the school system besides making sure that these teachers are there because they do love children and they are trying to build our children's futures up and build their minds and things like that. So
And I
I
feel that it should be recommended that all kids get some form of counseling while they're in school. I feel that it should be a boys and girls club on every section of the city. I feel that it should be more opportunities for the kids to keep them busy and so not so much on their phone. I feel that parents should be held more liable for their kids' actions than the kid because you're making a kid into an adult early, and so you're institutionalizing him with a juvenile system that he should not even supposed to be a part of. It was his parents' responsibility to teach that child not to do what they did.
mm,
Now, that's where I stand with that. And also, they should hold the parents more liable for this child not learning and being of grade level and whatever else is supposed to be. And another thing, I heard that they started. No, okay, I want to say two things. I'm sorry, y'all. I feel that people that's from that's out in our community, like not just saying one specific community, all like the whole community, like the mayor, then you should go to governor, then you should go to president. Because at this point, I feel like you being at the low, you rise to the top, you know what the people want, you know what I'm saying? People from our community being in the Congress office. Why is it these old farts that been in there for the last 50 years still there? It ain't the same time it used to be. That's why I feel like the world isn't going anywhere.
because we're stuck in like an old anarchy of the way they want the world to work and it's totally different. But I was saying that too, like people think that the president has a lot of has a lot of authority and pull, which he doesn't. Things have to go through
Right.
the Senate. It has to go
They
through
have to
Congress. It
go
has
through
to
the
go through the
legislative
House.
branch. You're right.
Yeah, so I was saying the other day, if you really want to make change, you start off in your neighborhood with your council people, and
Exactly.
vote for the commissioner of the school board and the commissioner of the police department and things like that. And if they do a good job, then you back them for them to become a council member, and then you back them to become a assemblyman, and then it should start from the bottom. I
It's
work in retail, and I always tell people that the best managers are managers that started as employees, regular sales associates, and that move up because every single level of struggle.
Hmm.
now
But then you got
like
them that
I
get
want
in
to
office. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yep.
now I want to interject a little bit now, and I want to go back a little bit. You all were talking about the No Child Left Behind. That was a Bush policy. That was a Bush policy. That happened way before the Biden administration came in, right?
Yeah.
Now I don't remember what the term limit is for that, but I agree it's something that should be looked at. Um, what else was what else was talking about? Because I'm working and doing this too. So
Okay, so we covered
um,
that. Then we covered the homeless thing. Then we said
right.
people should go into office from the bottom up because
Okay. Now we speak it now when we're talking about that. At this point, the way I feel, and I do have, as you can probably tell by now, I am not a Trump supporter, right? Um, and I have relatives that are Trump supporters, and nobody can tell me anything as to why they're going so hard. Because they're not telling me about policies. They're all stuck on this, the stimulus money, blah 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 blah, whatever, right? Um, damn, I lost my train of thought.
It's
I don't
okay.
remember.
It's okay. Take
Oh,
your
now
time.
what I was
Think
going to say
about it.
is, instead of me, because I have one of my closest friends, and I love her to death, but you can't even tell me why you're going this hard, and then you want to try to throw up some Bible verses, you know, uh, about Kamala, and she was the woman that was sent here to destroy. Okay, but you have no real standing. And I'm not going to argue with somebody that can't even tell me who their council person is, or they can't tell me who their senator is, or,
Mm,
or their congressman for that fact, right? I'm not going to
yeah.
argue with you because you don't even know where to start. You don't even have the basis of policy and what you need to have to, or who needs to do what.
Yeah, they're
And if you
emotional. They're emotional voting. It's their
right, so if
emotion.
you don't know your council people, you don't know who they are, you don't know how to reach out to your senator. I don't have time to talk to you.
Mm,
That's just kind of like where I am on it, right? Because those are the
okay.
people that are going to affect change that
Yeah,
benefits you.
yeah, because the president, like they have the power to change things for everybody overall, but when it comes down to your state, your city, your district, you have to go to like the local level. You have to
Right.
be in those people faces. You have to go and speak to those people. And I was saying the other day, all you have to do is be an American citizen and not have a felony to run for any kind of office. If you feel like you want something to be changed, or somebody that you feel that would be a good change or has that potential to be that person, we need to start pushing people to do that. Like staying at home and complaining and not doing anything about it is really getting old, because at the end of the day, if if you're not gonna vote, if you're not gonna do community activities and be a part of your
Right.
community,
Right.
then it's no reason for you to even have a opinion, in my opinion. Because at the
exactly.
end of the day, you're
or
not
or
doing
argue a
anything
point.
to because you're not
Or try
doing
to argue
anything
a
to move
point.
us forward. Yeah. Also, Dre, because you're
Yeah.
in California, I would like, and because you're a black man, how do you feel about the DNC? What are they? The Black Caucus trashing that bill for reparations.
I feel like honestly,
Oh, I remember now.
how could I put this? I do. I couldn't like when it started. I knew when everybody was like, "Oh, you gonna we gonna get paid. We gonna do this. We gonna So you better sign up and go take whatever test they tell you to take to prove this to prove that." I can prove it just by going to my grandmother because her mother was a slave. So I don't need to go very far, do I? And she's still walking this plantation.
Yeah.
But so I don't have to go very far. But so anyway, I knew it wasn't happening, you know. So it didn't make me feel no type of way. It would have been nice. But I feel like if you don't work for what you have, you will never understand the value of what you have. You'll never understand how to respect anything. You know what I'm saying? Even down to my kids, I make them work for what you want. I cannot just buy you no game. You got to keep your room clean. You got to bring in grays. You got to do certain things around the house.
Yeah.
You're not just going to get it. So when they get their allowance, they get to debating if they want to buy the game or not. I said, why are you debating? Because if I do it, I'm not going to have anything. I said, oh, so now you see how I feel.
You're
But you got
teaching them
money,
the value of money. Yeah.
right? Yeah, like you have money. I said, yeah, and I feel like you do. When I gave it to you, I felt like, well, if I give him this, I'm not going to have any money. But the agreement was for me to pay you for your good doings and your good behavior. It wasn't the agreement originally, but he got it once I got his grades and seen his behavior, and I didn't have to keep reminding him about certain things. And
Cleaning
he
the
got
room.
$64 at the end of it all because you got A's. You got four A's, and I didn't have to tell you to bring them in. Here you go, sir. May God be with you. And you need anything else?
Well,
I'm
I,
your
I
servant
believe in
tonight.
that. I believe in that.
I
I think,
remember that part. I forgot, right?
oh, go ahead. Go ahead before you forget it again.
About Kamala. I think she identifies as multiracial.
You're cutting out. Okay, you said you think she identifies as multiracial.
Multiracial. She acknowledges her Asian, as well as her black background.
Okay.
Also,
Black,
we got
not to be
another
confused
Obama.
with African American. Like,
So we
Okay.
have so it's like
very
another
different
Obama
ethnic.
situation.
Basically,
Correct.
so that's how I feel. So I'm Caribbean. I'm from Guyana. So I feel like, she is multiracial. She is. Do I
Yeah.
feel like she has Afro Jamaican in her? No. Um, in my culture, she's a coolie and a coolie. We call Indian people coolies. My father's father is an
And
Indian
Popperton,
man.
Popperton, you know that's disrespectful.
Girl,
You know,
a lot of people say that, but
you and I both.
in my
Okay,
country, in
I'm
my
second
country,
generation
people go.
American, right?
I know, but in my country, it's just like the N word, basically. Like it's disrespectful if you're using it in a disrespectful way. But that's how people identify in Guyana. That's how a lot of people identify from Guyana and Trinidad that are Indian that come here. So I'm
Okay.
not trying to
Well,
be disrespectful in that way. I know what
outside of
you mean.
those two, because those two and what's the other one? They're heavy in with Indian ancestry. That might apply there, but everywhere else in the Caribbean, you call somebody a coolie, you know you being disrespectful.
Okay, well, okay, so I'll take that back. She's an Indian and an Indian. I'll put it that way. She's a West Indian and she's an East Indian. Um, to me, like I said, my grandfather on my father's side is from India. But I can prove that I do have Afro Caribbean roots because I have pictures of what my grandmother looks like and her family and my great grandparents on her side. Um, I really feel like she doesn't want to identify as black. She rather keep it that way. Um,
I kind of
because
disagree with that.
I,
I
I just feel that way because she never admits it. If
Well,
you are
see, and if she does, then we're faced with another. Oh, she's black in this moment, but her history, like everything, as far as her, she went to one of the blackest colleges to get
but she
her
was but she
undergrad,
was
right?
raised but she was raised in a East Indian household. You understand what, like, okay, I get it. She went to a black college. Cool. She got a black experience in college. But the way she was raised, the morals, the standards, the music, everything that she was raised on, the food is not, it was not black. That was her mother's heritage. And that's what people I think get kind of misconstrued, because we can say that because now HBCUs, correct me if I'm wrong, they're accepting other cultures and other races into their sector. So
Now,
just because a white girl goes to HBCU, that does not make her black.
let me
It
tell you
depends
about
on.
that. That they have always admitted, they've never denied anyone, unlike, PWIs that had a history of denying
No, but
black
that's what
students,
I'm
which is
saying.
why HBCUs were created. They've always accepted everybody, but the gag is with that, when there is someone that is, not a person of color that's going to a HBCU, 9 times out of 10, they have a sports scholarship. They're usually on like the lacrosse team, and this is because I know this. They're usually in the band. They're usually
Mm.
on a sports scholarship, so they have those scholarships that are paying for them to go. They're not just going because they choose to go. It's because they couldn't get a scholarship for,
Somewhere else.
the sport or the program, the music program that they wanted to at a PWI. Like they could
Okay.
have got into the PWI, but they wouldn't have gotten that funding.
I,
Mm.
I wanted to say this, and for all my black people, please don't feel no type of way when I say this. I still feel like it's all those years ago when we heard the Martin Luther King story, because we all know in our neighborhoods, we all a lot of people feel the same. He just wanted a seat at the table,
Mm.
and you wanted a seat at the table where you're not welcome. So they keep throwing people who are biracial. They look black, but they're biracial and they grew up differently. And so therefore they keep putting those people in our face for us to vote for.
And that's
And
what
Um,
I agree totally,
and
Dre. And that's what I'm
and
saying.
and, and they make a and they dress them up real well, as black as they possibly can. They make their background as black as possibly humanly possible as they possibly can. That's like your mom being white, right? And you're being and you black, your dad's black, but your dad leaves, and so now you with your mom and her new husband, and he's white. So you grow up in a white
White
environment.
household.
Yeah, you looking at
Exactly.
things with a white outlook instead of looking at things from your heritage of pain, suffering, getting it out the mud, understanding what the slave train and when the slavery was all about, understanding where you come from as a person rather than what you were raised to be. Because if
Exactly.
now,
we
I
all understood
understand
where we were coming from as a mind, as a human race, I mean, well, if every ethnicity understood their heritage and where it came from and how we fought to be where we were, we would appreciate everything a lot differently opposed to what they're trying to do, I feel, because I need somebody that understands me, not somebody who went to a college and was taught how to understand me. No, I need you to understand me.
no, that's not what happens at a HBCU. But I mean, if we're gonna look at it like that, then if that's the case, a person like myself and Miss Poppington, which have Caribbean roots, Poppington, correct me if I'm wrong. In your household, you were raised differently than your American friends, right?
of course. And I was gonna
Okay,
say that. So
right. So to put it in that type of category for me, it doesn't align. Because are you saying that I'm less black because in my
it's
household
not
it was like your little American friends might do that, but we don't do
it's
that
not
here.
that. It's not that. Okay, so let me explain, because I am what you would call an anchor baby. I came here when I was 4. So I was raised in a complete Caribbean household. I
Right.
was. But I grew up in a black American neighborhood. I went to black American schools my whole life. I ended up marrying a black American man, and my household now is a straight black American household. My kids don't really, they know their Caribbean side, like from going to my grandparents and stuff like that, but They was raised Saturday morning, it's cookout music, old school R&B playing. Um, we do eat collard greens and macaroni and cheese and stuff a lot. My kids don't really eat Caribbean food like that. So I
Yeah.
understand both points of where both of y'all are coming from. And
Okay.
that's why I wanted to like really have discussions like this, because you have to think about it. Yes, I was raised in a Caribbean household. I was. And I went through learning about being a Black American through experience from the time I was 4 until now, being living in the neighborhood, having friends like that, being like, sleeping over at their house, being around them, things like that. But I still kept my Caribbean, I guess, upbringing. It's still within me. Now, when I married my husband, everything changed, because now it's not only the Caribbean. Like, my kids know certain things, like certain Caribbean things I still do. My daughter wore a dot on the middle of her forehead till she was about 12. Um, I have an altar. Like, I do a lot of Caribbean things still in my house, but my children are being raised in an American based household. It's
Okay.
different. Like,
So that's the okay. That's a little bit different because mine is I'm second generation American, but those things have trickled down to me. When I married someone, I married immigrant from Jamaica, so it's still that same structure. Like,
exactly.
yeah, I mean, yes, we're in a mixed community, so it had everybody there.
But in
Um,
your household, it's still
but in the
mainly
household, it's
Caribbean.
still mainly Caribbean, correct? But
And
we still
and that's
identify as black and African American or whatever.
yeah,
I'm pretty much one of the blackest people that you might know.
yeah, but this is what
But
this is
Right,
what
but
the
y'all
this is
also
what
have
the
the
elders do.
understanding that if we went outside, we're all on the same equal playing field when it's looked at as the law.
Yeah,
We will all be
right,
judged the same. She doesn't understand that.
and I
She,
think
I don't.
I get your
I
point,
don't think
Dre.
I don't agree with that one
I think she was more
because
privileged than
here's the
anything.
here's
She
the thing. When she goes out, even though she is a mixture, she looks different. She is a person of color, so she has experienced some of the same things.
I don't think so.
Not the
I don't think
political
Yeah,
so.
parties, yes, sure, they treat her like trash, but she wants to be there. Nobody told her to.
And not only that, you have to look at her circumstances too. Yes, if she wants to, we don't know if she identifies as black, because I never personally heard her deny it or endorse it. But if you are a black woman raised in an Indian household with a white husband and no black children, even though you're Caribbean, you're still a black. She cannot understand your plight. You have a black Caribbean husband. You was raised in a black Caribbean household. Now, if she was raised in a black Jamaican household, this wouldn't be an issue. It's because she was not raised in a black household at all. It's because she does not have a black significant other, and she does not have any black children. Her children are her stepchildren, which is her husband's children. So, in a lot of black people's minds, whether they're foundational black American or Caribbean, because I know a lot of Caribbean people that feel like she's not even that Jamaican to them. They feel like she cannot understand the plight of a black woman with, like, that's the head of a black family, or that a black woman, that her and a black man are together, regardless if it's Caribbean black from anywhere. You don't have that experience at all.
It's going to blow your mind, but a lot of people in California, we really okay. We gave Obama a pass because of Michelle. Let's just put it out there.
no, I didn't
Now,
give
if she would
Obama a
have
pass
ran,
because of Michelle. His father's African.
We
now
loved
if she would have
Michelle.
ran,
We
she would have
love
got this.
Michelle. Michelle got out there in the street with I seen her with my own two eyes with the homeless people. She wasn't afraid to shake their hand, give some hugs, pass out plates. She was doing things the way that I would see my
My
auntie do
my
things.
auntie, yes. 1 second, Dre. Okay, so I'm gonna Wilson just put in the chat. It shouldn't even be an issue. It's irrelevant. Like I said, what Trump knows about black people other than selling them shoes. So I'm gonna say
That's a
this,
good point.
Wilson. This is not about giving Trump a one up on Kamala. This is about the way that they have pandered the fact that she will be the first black female president.
But you
It has
keep
nothing.
saying they. That's not the general consensus. That's a few people.
No, I'm saying her. No, that's her campaign. That's the media, the
Now
mainstream
when
media.
she now when she became the vice president, she became the first Asian Asian
Exactly.
what was it, Afro Asian woman that
Exactly.
was vice
And,
president. So that would transfer over. Not saying she's going to be first. She's going to be a first for both categories if you got to look at it that way.
but people are
Either way, it's
waiting
going
for
to
her
be
to
a
admit.
first person of color
Yeah, but people are
woman.
waiting for her to say it. See, okay, I think a lot of black people are mad because it is a pandering tactic. It is a pandering tactic because if you, just like the people that you said you're not going to argue with, those are the people that are voting with emotion. I'm going to vote for her because she's going to be the first black woman president. And they're pandering this. And she's not saying, no, I'm not just only black, I'm mixed. No, I don't feel that way. I look at both. She's not giving us any direct answer for it. And a lot of, I guess you would say woke. I don't even like using that word because woke is, you can use it in different kind of terms. But a lot of people are feeling like the mainstream media and her campaign are pandering and they're not liking it because she won't admit, deny, accept any of it.
But
And that's just that, like, it shouldn't be an issue. Her being a
but
woman
she
shouldn't be an
isn't.
issue.
She
Her,
isn't actually. She isn't. She isn't doing. She's doing the same thing for her Asian part as well.
mm,
So if you like with the new rules of the societal norms now, right?
mm,
Um, everybody doesn't have to like. I don't know. I think it's weird. You got to
I,
make an
I don't see
announcement
it that way
when
because
everybody knows her racial background.
a lot of
Why
people are
is this an
supporting her
issue?
off that fact. Like,
Well, see, that would be on them, but that's what I'm saying.
but
And that's not the
that's what I'm
issue.
saying.
That shouldn't
Be an
the
issue.
issue that
It,
they, that
it
shouldn't be a
should be
deciding factor
policy.
as to why they're voting for her.
Yes, it should be policy, but it's becoming an issue when people that have influence are coming on and calling other people dumb or stupid or making them feel like they're wrong because she will be the first black president, black woman president, and that's what we need. That's what I mean by pandering. Like, it's not really for people like me and you and probably Dre, because we're about policy. Like, you have to give me a policy that I like. You have to give me a policy that I know is going to benefit me and my family. That's the selfishness I'm on. Like, this policy has to benefit
As you
me,
should
my
be.
family, my kids, my grandkids, my grandparents. People that vote on emotion, they're pandering to them, and that's the only reason why I'm bringing it up because a lot of people do vote off of emotion. Like, it's not.
And
I
yeah,
just
that
don't
would
like
be
him, and I like her. Or she's gonna be the first black president, woman president, and that's what we need. So that's why I'm voting for her. So that's why I'm saying, like, it shouldn't be. I'm not saying it should be relevant at all. None of it should be relevant. It should be the best person that will lead this nation into the right path with their policies, not with their ideology beliefs, because the ideology of things are like opinions. Everybody has them, everybody won't agree, everybody won't disagree. But with policy, this is something that's fact, that's put down, that you
right
could see, and that
because
will be
it's,
implemented.
as soon as she clearly defines what she is, then it's going to be another issue. Let people need, and again, that's on their individually. If that's how you think, I mean, you probably shouldn't. You probably don't need to vote
And
at
that's
this
why
point.
and that's why
That's
I
why I'm not voting until Jesus come in office.
well, that's why I push don't vote on emotions. That's why I'm not really I was I was planning on voting this year, but I don't even know if I want to vote because I don't believe in the less of two evils. I don't believe in that. And I don't believe in vote blue no matter who or vote red no matter, like, I'm not into all of that. I need policies. I need to make sure that the next 4 years is gonna be where we could progress. So when the next four after that comes, I don't have to worry again. I want to make sure that I can feed my family, that I can get a job, that my 19-year-old son has room to get a job, that the government is going to take care of me, a citizen that's been paying taxes since she was 16 years old. I'm 43. So that's more of my thing. I want to know what you're going to do about these pow pows and these school things and all that. Like, I have other things besides race, and besides that she's a
Right.
woman, and besides that he's a racist, that I need these people to let me know what they're going to do about, because this is more important than who's going to actually do it. It just needs to be done, you know?
And my thing is, I don't, I don't care about your race. I want change all the way around. I need, and it's like
But
we
in order,
we expecting for change to come from them, and like I said, we ain't changed the in between.
but Dre, the change is going to come from the bottom up.
That's what I
It's
said. We
not
that's
going to
what I
come
said. We
from the
can't
top.
That's
exactly.
what I'm
That's what I said. We got to start from the bottom, which is
Right.
Congress and all the in between men. You know what I'm saying? Which will force change at the top.
And we have to also start fighting to limit these term limits for these
Right.
senators and these councilmen and stuff, because there's no reason why.
There's no term
Okay,
limits.
I don't know if anybody in the chat lives in South Carolina or North Carolina, wherever James Clyburn is. I guess you guys is governor
You
or
jumped to
state
James
is.
Clyburn, Mitch McConnell,
This is what I'm saying.
who had a
So
whole stroke, a whole
when
stroke
stroke
up
come
on
back,
the.
all of these people are or have been in these positions for years and years.
Hmm.
And if you don't feel that anything has changed, then to be honest, that's your fault. If you live in those states and you feel like nothing's changed, that's your fault. Because why aren't you down there stomping for a new representative or stomping for these term limits to be shortened? Now, I brought this guy up before, Marcel Dixon. He's a school teacher. He's part of the LGBT community, and he's a school teacher. But because he did not like how James Clyburn was treating the constituents in North Carolina or South Carolina, wherever they're from, he is running. He took that chance, leap of faith, and ran. And lo and behold, he got a lot of people backing him. And it's not only people in his state. I mean, me and my husband, we donated to him. I know a lot of people from Cali, a lot of people from Texas that helped out with his campaign. We can help each other, but we all have to start helping from the bottom up. Because if
Right.
we don't, we have to, if we want things to change, we have to look in our communities and look within ourselves. And we have to, just like they groom their candidates and back them financially, we have to groom our candidates and back them financially. And it has to start from councilman to senator to house of rep. Like, we have to go through
Right.
those channels.
Yes, we do. We
So
have to
that's the.
change.
I think people have to see that when you're looking at these things, the president operates, well, the president, the legislative branch, and the judicial branch, they all operate as far as the macro version, the macroeconomics of it all. The change and everything is everything that's below that. So, that's where you're going to get your micro points in, and that's where you're going to see the change that you're trying to do in your communities. It's
But
Yeah,
not
see,
going to be done on a grand scale. It has to go from the bottom
from the
up.
bottom.
So the
Okay, so
micro has to go up to the macro to be evaluated.
but
perfect
see,
example. I live in New York, and I don't know if that all you've been seeing, but we've been having a lot of FBI raids on top officials here, from our governor's aide to our mayor to the commissioner of the NYPD, commissioner of the MTA, commissioner of the DOE, which is the Department of Education. And this is why I say it's so important. Most of these people were grandfathered in. They were ushered in because a lot of New Yorkers, I might make a lot of New Yorkers mad, but we're very ignorant to the voting process. We're very ignorant to that part of it. Like, it's like we're so busy and we're doing so many other things that we don't pay attention to what's going on. And now New York is paying for it. Um, the FBI, that means it's serious. They have a conviction rate of 95%. So if these people are being put under RICO charges, 9 times out of 10, they already have all the evidence they need to get rid of these people.
Of
If
course
we
they
were
do.
if our communities really stood up and we really went and really started advocating for the things that we want and advocating for the people that we wanted in, we wouldn't have this problem right. It wouldn't be a fact of money can get this person in. It doesn't matter how much money it is. The people said, this is what the people said. And the people is what's supposed to drive these elections. The people are supposed to be the ones to elect these people as representatives of us. Most of the time we don't go out to vote and they're being
Right.
ushered in and grandfathered in. And now look, we have a whole system from our transit to our education, um, to the police. That's a whole societal system that has been corrupted in one city. And that could be so detrimental to how New York is going to move forward from now on, as far as being a political stronghold or even being as strong of a city that we are. Because New York, LA, Miami, like those are the cities that everybody looks to for for influence, whether it's in politics or music or like we have a lot of influence. So if it could happen here, that
In
just goes to
Cali,
show.
and they look at Cali
It's
too for influence. They really
but
do because they didn't start the March raids and all that crap until it really happened with that cop situation and Rodney King. You know what I'm saying? But I feel that they are dumbed down as a society. The government system dumbs you down intentionally. I feel like if every state had a movement and everybody knew in every state in that movement that it starts at the bottom and we need to get down there to make sure we get who we need in there that's going to represent us well. And so we can get the change we need at the top. Now,
but
if we had a group of those in every city, the world would be a better place. I'm telling you. But see, the election, like now, it be put on this grand scale as if they're like, head honcho, like they got the last say, and you don't do nothing but sign a piece of paper. You follow directions. Okay, you have a boss too, sir. But you know what I'm saying? So it's like they're put on this scale like, we got to really get down there and vote if we want to make a change. They preach it on the TV and on commercials and everything. You want to make a change, get down there and vote for the
but
next president.
I think that all has to deal with voter education, right?
Yes.
Um, they don't, and this again, this we can attribute this to our local leaders because they don't push voter registration for the midterms. They only push it for presidential elections, right? So most people only show. I would say a lot of American citizens only show up for presidential elections, and they don't vote in the midterms, which is where which affects them the most, right?
Yes. That's the state. That's
So
the Senate.
it and it goes back to
Congress.
voter education. People need to be educated on this, and they're not.
I think that they should
And and
start
and
doing
it
it in
becomes
school.
and it becomes at that point at our big old age. 'Cause I'm 47. At my big old age, if I don't know that at my big old age, then that's a you problem. You're to
Yeah.
blame. You got to take that up with yourself if you haven't educated yourself. But as far as these young people that are 18 and just getting their voter registration card, I agree. Something needs to be done when they go get their voter registration card, to let them know what each election does.
Yeah, I feel like you should start your kids off young. Like I feel like schools should implement certain governmental classes like that to like they teach you,
They
each
do, but people don't pay
legislation.
attention to civics. People go to
Yeah,
civics
they
class
do. But
and
then
they just go in there to
I
pay. They
blame
just
the
want to
parents
pass.
too. I blame the parents too because I look at it like if we could sit there on Sundays and watch the whole family watch football, or you could watch, the All-Star game and stuff. Why the whole family can't talk about what's going on in the world politically? Like we need to start educating ourselves and our children too. We can't. A lot of people
Oh
wait till
shit!
somebody else wants to do it. And I feel like we need to start doing that, especially like how the country and the world is going at this point. We need to really educate our children because I was saying this the other day. Every big movement that happened, it has been the young people. The young people started it. Civil rights movement, yeah. Rosa Parks didn't want to get up, but when it came down to the marching and it came down to the boycotts and the stands off and stuff like that, it was the kids. The kids are the ones that push that. Even with Black Lives Matter, when they first started marching, and it was a pull-up summer and all that, it was the teenagers and the young adults. So I feel like as parents, we need to start educating our kids too, and we need to start pushing them to be more than just basketball players and football players and being movie stars and stuff. We need to start pushing our kids to be lawyers and wanting to be in the political world and wanting to be politically more active in their community, because that if we don't, we're going to end up with we're going to end up seeing them, god forbid, if I live long enough to see this world crumble as far as political. I don't want to see that for my kids. I don't want America to turn into one of these third world countries that we turn on the TV and see what's going on and feel so sorry for them, but don't know exactly what they're going through and why they're going through it. So I feel like as parents, especially because this election, I feel is a very, very important one because of, what's going on in the world, all the things that's going on. We haven't even really touched on a lot of things that they didn't touch on in the election. One being this whole World War III thing. We have three wars going on right now at one time, and not for nothing, America's being very nosy. And I don't even think that two of the wars we should have nothing to do with, absolutely nothing. But it's like we're being thrown into this because of sanctions and because of these deals that these politicians have made without our knowledge, and our pockets are paying for it. Our taxes are paying for it. We're in the age range that they're saying that by the time we're old enough to get our social security, it won't even be there. And it's because of things like, these wars that are going on. We're sending trillions to Ukraine. We're sending trillions to Israel to fight a war that has nothing to do with American people. Like, not saying that there's not Ukrainians that live there and it's not Palestinians and Israel, people from Israel that live here. But when it comes down to the come down, you are here, you are American. You need to fight for your country with your country. We shouldn't have to, like, it's nothing wrong with getting help if we have to help you fight a war. Like when America came in World War II, stepped in and went into combat to take down Hitler. That's one thing. But to help them financially, to take away from the people that are here, to not take care of your people that are here that are homeless and, you know, less fortunate. And I know, Dre, like I know about Tent City in LA. You know what I'm saying? I I
Mhm.
I know about places like that in LA. So I know you understand what I'm saying, like full heartedly.
Mhm.
Take care of the people here. It's okay to help other people, but spending that much money to help other people is a slap in the American people's face, especially the ones that came here and worked hard to be a part of this country, that now their money is going to somewhere else. And when I get the age where I'm supposed to sit back, relax, and just live off of my social security, because I've been working since I was 16, I won't be able to do that because you've done took my retirement, my little stronghold that I have to, that maybe even if I can't retire, I could borrow against this money to help my children buy a house, to help my grandchildren go to college. You're taking away from my ability to be to live my American dream, to give to somebody else. And that's something that I don't agree with. And I really feel like Trump has her on that. When he was president, nobody dared to to do anything. Putin was on his best behavior. Kim Jong Un was on his best behavior. Everybody in Israel and Iraq and everybody was on their best behavior. And not for nothing, it's because he's crazy. Trump is crazy. He's bat-ish crazy. I really feel like if they pushed him hard enough, he will push that button. And I think they knew that. And they didn't even talk about that. Like, Kamala, what are you going to do? Because under your administration, we're in three wars right now. There's no peace talks. There's no nothing. It's just an ongoing thing. And like I said, I am not a Trump supporter, but I do give him the one up on her when it comes to national security as far as that.
I want to ask you a question because I feel like a lot of people believe the hype when it comes down to some of the wars that they talk about. I'm the type I like to go investigate. You know, you just not gonna piss down my back and tell me it's rain. So I'll go investigate, and you see in these countries there's nothing going on. But we giving all this money, there's nothing going on. But we're giving the money. You hear it on the news. I'm looking at the citizens. There's nothing going on. If I'm looking at this person that's walking down the street and you don't see no smoke and ain't nobody running like hell and all hell breaking loose, and he living his good life, drinking on whatever his version of a frappe is, you know, sipping on his little version of a pina colada. But they
Mhm.
are poor countries, and I feel like the United States also do a thing where they'll make us feel like we're not welcome and accepted in our country where we're originally from. And I feel like certain parts of those countries, sure, because they were made out to feel some type of way for whatever reason. But I feel like I didn't go, okay, this may seem like I'm jumping off subject, but I'm not. I watched movies on Tubi from over there where we're from, our heritage, Jamaica, India, all these great places, and it's beautiful over there. It ain't no little huts the way they try to make us believe. The people poor, it's poverty. Probably certain areas true, just like over here. But I'm saying for the most part, it's beautiful to go home and live in peace because it's just beautiful. So they want us to stay over here and help them fight for what? What
Well,
again?
let me tell you, I have to disagree with you on that one because, like I said, I am from Guyana and I don't want to live there. I would rather live here any day, any week. You could not get me to move back. You would have to deport me on purpose, force me on the plane with a gun to my head to move back there. Um, most of these places that you're seeing in these movies, those are built to be vacation spots and stuff like that. Like, I'm from the hood in Guyana.
Okay.
West Rhinebelt, Lane Avenue. I am from the hood. When I mean I'm from the hood, I am from the hood. What they call tenement houses. You have 3, 4 miles of houses just connected to each other down a strip.
hmm
I am
hmm
from the hood. My grandfather's house has no running water. I have to bathe when I go there to visit. I have to bathe outside. Wait until about 1 o'clock till the sun done heated up the ground enough that I could bathe outside under a pipe with a slip on. I
So
have to
that is
carry
a true
water
story.
from
Those are true
storage.
stories. Oh wow. Because I've
So
heard like it's nice parts though. Like it's not
yeah,
just all bad.
we have vacation spots, but do
Mm,
not get it twisted. Those are far in between. Most of these countries actually do look like what you the worst part would look like. Most of the places do. It's just like here. They have places that the rich people live at, where some of
right.
the houses are nicer. Like my aunt, she has a nice property, and they built their house, and it's like an American made house. They have Wi-Fi, running water, hot water. But my other aunt, she lives in the middle of Georgetown, right around the corner on Durban Street, and
hmm
she has running water, but she doesn't have hot water. They still turn off the water at a certain time to conserve water in Guyana. They shut the lights off for an hour or two every day. So it's
Wow.
like,
Like,
I understand why you want to come here, but that's what makes me kind of mad with with certain Caribbeans because you're right. They do teach you to kind of hate Black Americans. They teach you to think that Black Americans are lazy and don't do anything. But my whole thing is if you're coming from a place like that, and if it wasn't for these same Black Americans, you wouldn't even have the opportunity to come from a place like this to even be here. Don't down them. Don't act like you're better than. Don't think that because you come from somewhere else that you're better. No, you're not. Because the same situation that we're living in, that Guyana's in 2024, that's
Mm-hmm.
the same conditions that the slaves in 1804 were going through. So you're coming over like Black America, all my FBA friends, all of my like my husband's family, they are very like y'all are very understanding. Y'all are very opening and welcoming. And I get the reason why, because y'all been there and done that. You know we're coming from places where, the schools are not that great and you still have to boil the water to drink it. Like you
Mm-hmm.
cannot drink regular tap water in Guyana. You get something called typhoid fever, which I caught when I was 12 years old. I slept for 2 weeks straight. I didn't even open my eyes to go to the bathroom. I didn't know when they took me to the hospital, nothing, like just from drinking, like me thinking I'm coming from America thinking, oh, I could drink some tap water and I get sick because you have to boil it. And it's a lot of
Right.
it's not just the Caribbean countries. I'm not gonna this
No, Mexico is like that too.
yeah,
Mexico, I've been there. It's like that
and
too. So
Dominican Republic and Cuba, like all these countries that these people are coming from, yes, you are impoverished. Yes, this will be a better place for you. My whole thing, me saying that is with the whole immigration thing, it should be a process. You shouldn't be able to come here and like financially jump over people that already been here and been working their butts off. You should have to go through a process. You should get vetted. My grandfather had to like my grandfather came here in 1981. At that time, I guess because of the Cuban crisis and all that stuff, and Castro letting all his people out and all that stuff, they were interviewing people. You had to say certain things for them to even let you in the country. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
So you had to be a certain, like they wanted you to say, oh well, I'll be on your side. Like I'm not going to be on these kind of people's side or those kind of people's side. He
right,
came
right,
here.
right.
He got his citizenship. Him and my grandmother got married. She got her citizenship through him. Then they filed for me and my mother to come here. And I got my citizenship through my mother because I was only 4. I
Mm-hmm.
don't I don't mind immigrants, because at the end of the day, we all make this country. You guys made it for us to be here, and us being immigrants, whether it's from Haiti, Guyana, Dominican Republic, Mexico, France, Spain, like Italy. Everybody made America what it is now.
That's what I'm saying. So what's wrong with us going back home, making home great again?
I
Even
feel
if
that same
we
way
were
too.
born here, even if we were born here, we still know where home is.
So you're like a pan. You lean toward like Pan Africanism.
Like I feel like I'm from if, okay, they say African American. America doesn't belong to anyone.
No, it doesn't.
So
Except for the indigenous people, which we don't even exactly know who the indigenous people were. The people that were already here before anybody discover so-called discover, because I don't know how you could discover something people are already on, but whatever, or invaded, or captured. Who are those people? Like we don't even have a clear cut understanding of that.
well, I'm gonna say something crazy that's gonna blow everybody mind. I seen this lady, she was 110, and she's not. And people say it's craziness because she's 110. No, it's actually knowledge. She said that the map is backwards. She said this is over here, that is over there, and if you look at the way she explained it, and you look, and I tell people stop listening to respond
Hey,
to
don't make
to
me put up.
respond.
Dre, you
Huh?
talking my language. Don't make me put on my tinfoil kupi. My
Okay, I
tinfoil
already got
kupi
mine on, so
because
I feel it's backwards because it shouldn't be.
listen, the Grand Canyon is that really
Yeah,
Egypt? Yeah,
yeah.
like I
And
know what
it's
you're talking about.
pyramids over here. It shouldn't be pyramids
We
over here
we
if
can't
this
get that.
isn't the
We
Middle
can't get
East.
that deep though. We can't get. We gonna stick on politics. We can't get
Okay,
that
yeah,
deep.
yeah, 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 yeah. I kind of
But
thought it all tied in together, but okay.
no, that'll cause like that. I don't want anybody to run off or feel like they don't want to be over here because of anything. We're gonna stick on to the topic, but me and
Oh
you could
yeah, yeah, I get
definitely
you
talk
saying.
on the
I get what
back
you
end
saying.
about that because yeah, I'm a flat earther and all that too, buddy. So
Yeah, me and you thinking the same. But
uh-huh.
but yeah, so I feel like Camilla Harris. I would love to see what she does in office. Then I'm not on the big spectrum of which bigger, like I'm gonna put the smaller demon in because this one is not gonna do as much damage as that one gonna do. But nevertheless, they both the wrong person to put in office. I still feel the same way I felt last election. You all haven't given me nobody that I want to get up and go vote for.
So question, have you checked out Cornell West? Because he is running too.
Oh no, I didn't even know he was running. See what I'm saying? They just made it seem like it was just these two people.
And look at that. That's why I don't follow me on Instagram, everybody. Hood politicking with T. My Insta stories be lit. That's why I put that up after the debate. Like you guys know you do have a third option. You might have another one and I just don't know about it because I know it's like four different parties or five different parties that's on the ticket when you go to vote. But
Hmm.
Cornell West, Dr. Cornell West, he's running under the Green Party.
See, I think we need to dig into these other candidates because it's more than I want to just put these two to the back burner and see what these other ones talking about. I need to know who your granddaddies is and what your daddy taught you because
Me
what you got.
personally, me personally, at this point, I don't care. I want to know what your policy is on how I don't have to pay $8 for 12 eggs,
Right.
and my kids can go get like they have jobs available for them. I can actually get a job. My husband could get paid what he's supposed to get paid and not get paid what the company can afford because of all this hoopla. And I want to know what you're going to do about the immigrant crisis because like I see it. I see it. When I mean I'm in Southside Jamaica, Queens. They put they put a lot of them here. When I mean a lot. And it's this is why I tell people I'm not being racist. I'm just this is factual because we have black immigrants and Spanish immigrants that they put here. So we have the Africans and the Haitians, and we also have the Venezuelans. They got some people from Colombia and things like that. Every hotel, mind you, I live next to an airport. We live close to JFK. Jamaica had nothing but hotels because people need hotels. They're flying, they got a layover or whatever. They turned every single hotel here into a shelter.
Hmm.
Jamaica Avenue is like a strip that, a little strip that we go down that, sells everything. That's where the Foot Locker at. That's where all the little cute girl stores, the little cheap, cute girl stores, all the, the hood. You could get your sneakers release. Your release is 2 weeks early, but you're paying $500. That's Jamaica Avenue. It went from being a multicultural shopping place because the part of Jamaica I live in is predominantly Spanish, Indian, and Black. It
Hmm.
is, but it's a certain kind of Spanish, Indian, and Black to all these migrants coming in and taking over the sidewalk. They're getting stuff from the free pantry, all this money in food stamps, buying fruits, and now they're selling fruits on every single corner.
See, that's what I'm saying, and
They're
I
coming
feel
in
like
and saying, they're coming in and saying, "Oh yeah, I was the manager of fast food at my in my country, and will take $20,000 a year less than you." So now they
mhm.
have. That's why I say people have to take Trump with a grain of salt. I understand him because I'm a New Yorker. He says the most retardedest things, but he just does not know how to articulate it. That's what he means by black jobs. I understood it. Like the the mall that's close to us, that I worked at, and every teenager that I know in our neighborhood, in the whole part of this south part of Queens and Laurelton and everything worked at when we grew up. You barely see any of us in there. So I
Oh yeah.
understand what he meant. He didn't articulate it very well. He sounded very ignorant and stupid when he said it, but I understood what he meant. And even with the crime thing, like I was telling them on the last live, a guy kidnapped a little girl, not but a couple of blocks away from me in front of a supermarket one day, kept her the whole day, SA'd her twice, dropped her off at that same supermarket, drove away, then came back the next day to try to get another girl. Thank goodness the people in the neighborhood noticed the car, noticed who he was. The girl had already went to the police and stuff. The community started chasing him. And I when anybody is unalived, it's not a good thing, but I can say karma came back, spun the block on him really quick, because as he's trying to get away from the men in the community that's chasing him down, driving him down so the police can come and arrest him, he crashes into a pole and dies instantly. I ain't monetized, so I don't care, but that's what happened. So
Oh
I
wow.
know about the crime like we're starting to see the crime thing too. So those are my two main concerns. That whoever has the best solution for that will get my vote, and if either one of them don't, then I'm staying on the couch this year.
That's what I'm saying. Like if they don't start coming out saying something different, I'm not moving. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I didn't even. I'm gonna keep it lit. I didn't vote for Obama, and the reason why I didn't vote for Obama, he lost my vote is when he start going with the like. I don't like when if you're a president, you're supposed to be serious. So much so you don't interact with the entertainment industry. That's not real to you. Your real problems is what's going on in your country. Now, if they out here performing for you to raise up fundings for a specific area, then cool. Get up there and act like you dancing to a song you don't know, you know. But you get there here to help you from with the community. Like, hey, community, hey, black community, look, come vote. Hey, minorities, come vote.
Yeah, I don't like the pandering. That I think that's why. Like I understand why people are mad about if is she black thing. I don't like the pandering. Like I don't like that they try to pin black men against black women.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've seen that a lot with this election because if you are following politics, you'll know that a high percentage of black men have switched from Democrat to Republican and are endorsing Trump. And it's like they're trying to make a divide, and it's already hard out here. Me being married, you're married, Dre. So being married, the division in your house is already crazy. So to
Yeah,
put like, so to add that into it, I don't like that. I think that's why the the Democratic Party has turned me off, because it's like, don't pander to me. Give me policies, promise me what you're gonna do, and when you get in there, just fulfill your promise. That's it.
well,
All
I
the
feel like that's
benign
what they all
neglect.
do.
This is what I'm saying. All the benign neglect over the years and all of that, like that turned me off to them. And I'm not gonna. That's why I said I'm not gonna vote for the lesser two evils, because it's both sides of this that I do not like. I do not like the racist undertones of the Republican Party. Am I more conservative than a Democrat in my beliefs and my morals? Yes. But I'm not gonna compromise my beliefs and my morals to join a party that is based on hating me, hating
Right.
my son, hating my husband, hating my daughter. I'm not gonna do that. Just like with the Democrats, I'm not going to go against my moral standards and my beliefs to vote for certain things like men playing in women's sports, tampons in girls' bathrooms, letting kids decide to if they want to change their gender or not. If my child cannot decide to vote, if my child cannot smoke cigarettes, cannot buy alcohol, cannot go to a club and party by themselves, they should not be able to decide a life-changing decision like that. And that is one of the main reasons. That's one of the main reasons that I do not like the Democratic Party. So that's why I always say I'm down the middle. I will always be a policy voter because if I voted on emotions, I would never vote. You understand? So I don't know. But oh my goodness, we've been on here for an hour and 45 minutes. Dre, do you have any final thoughts you want to say? Anything that a point from the debate that we didn't touch on that you really want to talk about or something that they didn't talk about?
Nope, you did everything. I want to thank you for having me come up and let me bless the stage, and thank you for the opportunity.
Of course. Thank you for coming up. Latoy, thank you for coming up. Wilson, Ashley, I see everybody in the chat. Sharonda, be more careful. Selena, thank you guys. Um, I'm gonna do a weekly wrap up on Saturday. I'll let you guys know what time it'll be. And of course, I'm gonna be looking out for stuff. And follow me on Instagram. My Insta stories be lit. Like if you have any kind of confusion, I've been finding little clips about certain things and it keeps you very informed about what's going on with both candidates. And because I did bring up Cornell West, I'm going to start looking into him more and putting a little more information out on him, just in case anybody's not too interested in either candidate and is looking for a substitute to vote for or a better candidate. Because I don't know what Cornell West's policies or what he's running on or for yet. But I'll let you guys know that on Saturday. And I love you guys and thank you for coming and sharing this space, safe
Thank you,
space.
Miss Popperton. You stay blessed and safe, and love you, and see you in the back.
Okay, love all of y'all. Bye.
Bye.